So I'm going with the grain with a number 2 on my Andis double magnetic guards, making sure around that crown I follow the hair growth, because what can happen is sometimes if you go against that hair growth at the back, you will leave a bald spot. It's easily done, so just be mindful of that, because we've all done it before, and the last thing you want to be doing is giving your client a bald spot on the back of his head. Trust me. Holding it out my Babyliss Gold FX, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the skin just to get the hair off from underneath. I will be going in with a balder at some point to get rid of that little bit of stubble, but to be honest with you, if you're putting a little bit of pressure on with the Babyliss Gold FX, it should do most of the work. Now I'm going in with the Oster Fast Feed Leather Open, which is the equivalent to a 0.5, as you may know, to some of you beginners. With this texture of hair, I've only had to play with the leather a couple of times, so some texture of hair you might need to move that leather a few times, you know, open a notch above that and then halfway open, you know, but with this hair I only needed to use halfway and then pretty much closed. Equivalent to a 1.5. After that I'll be going in with my one guard closed, and then just a little bit of with the grain work just to make sure that I'm getting every little bit of hair up. Going with the grain is super important with this texture of hair, afro hair. You must go with the grain at some points, because otherwise you're not going to get a tip-top haircut. It is super important. It's totally different to Caucasian hair, you know. If you've got good techniques, they will shine through, but ultimately this technique of going with the grain is a must when you're doing that. Open. This is just to remove a little bit of bulk that I might have seen during the haircut. Sometimes you need to do this, sometimes you don't. Normally what I find is you need to go one guard above the length you went with the grain. So, you know, if you went with a 2 with the grain, you need to go with a 3 against it. Or, you know, in this case, I needed to use a 2.5, 2.5. So, yeah, that's why I've done that, just to remove a little bit of bulk that I may have seen at the time. And then after that, it's just down to detailing to make that taper look absolutely spot on. Pretty much the same steps as the left side as I did with the right. With this side, interestingly enough though, I found it a lot easier to fade, and sometimes that can happen in barbering where it is a lot easier to fade one side than the other, so don't worry about that. Sometimes you might have to go over the right side a lot more than the left, or vice versa. That's part of barbering, it's part of the game, and it's what you got to do to make a fade look absolutely cream. Notice how I'm only using a couple of the teeth to fade this out. You shouldn't really ever be using the full blade when it comes to detail work. At this point I'm just softening the fade down, you know, and that's what's going to make this blend look super crispy. So now I'm going in with my one guard closed, and this just helps lay the hair down for when I line it up. Go in with a 1.5 instead of a 1, just at the edge, just to taper it in a little bit. I didn't want to go too much because, you know, you want to keep the hairline nice and thick, so when you line it up it really pops. So now onto the line up. With this Babyliss Gold FX, brush the hair down and then just tap the skin. When I say that this Gold FX is razor sharp, I mean it, it absolutely slaps. So you don't need to press down on the skin hard because you're just going to cut the client up. All you need to do is tap really nice and soft, let the trimmer do the work. You know, start in the middle and then we move on to the sides. As you can see, this process takes time, so don't worry about it. You shouldn't be getting it perfect on the first go. If you do, you're an absolute monster. But trust me, take your time, let the FX do the work, and you're going to be a mustard barber in no time. with blending in the beard, it's pretty much the same as the back and the sides. I just done it in reverse. You know, you go in with a 0.5 and then a 1.5. A little bit of level play in between should get the job done. You will see me going in with my Andis Zero guard, which has got a couple of teeth missing. And the reason is because I don't want to move on to the new double magnetic guard Andis have released, because it is absolutely dead. The last thing I want to be using is that new guard, so I'm going to be hanging on to this old school Andis guard for as long as possible. If anyone knows where I can find the old school guard, please let me know in the comments, because I would do anything to get that guard back. Thank you. Blading the liner, I just use a little bit of shaving gel. I don't like too much because I like seeing what I'm doing, so I just put a little bit all round and then I stretch the skin and then bring it back to where I think I can get it absolutely crispy as hell. YouTube, this is the cut, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to follow me on my Instagram and TikTok. It's at Oster Barbers. Well done guys, I hope you enjoyed this cut and I will see you soon.